Signing number 8 through the door, Gideon Kadua is now, I hope I pronounced that correctly, but to be honest, I have no idea. He is now a Luton Town player. We've made use of the loan market, so that's Nigel Lonwick. Also, wish I pronounced that correctly. It could be Lonwyke. I'm just going to call him Diet Virgil van Dijk. Or Nigel van Dijk. Yes, I'm going to call him Nigel van Dijk. So we have Kadua and Lonwick both signed on loans and with a view to purchase. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, this is my reaction to signing Gideon Kadua from the West Ham Academy. He links up for the third time with Matt Bloomfield. So he was on loan at Wycombe for the 23-24 season, and he was on loan for the 24-25 season. He's not a starter per se, but ultimately in this time where Izzy Jones is out for, well, I think Matt Bloomfield said he's got a stress fracture in his back, so that could take a couple of months, and then he needs a couple of months, so it could be up to 6 months that Izzy Jones is out. This is a option that can sort of compete in that wing-back position with Ruel Walters. Personally, I don't think Ruel Walters is quite up to... He hasn't impressed me. He hasn't. But there's still room for improvement. But depending on whether we're going to persist with this back three, which seems to be the only option, I've discussed this countless times with Lewis Williams, like on WhatsApp. The back three sort of only makes sense to me because of how many centre-backs we have on our books. We have so many. They just all need game time. And the squad is just so heavily stacked towards defenders, specifically central defenders. So that's just the way we have to operate. And then at the same time, there's a knock-on effect because we have no fullbacks. We have, well, Ruel Walters, can he play wing back? No. Can he play right back? Well, we don't know because he hasn't had a chance. But ultimately, I think he's probably better as a right back than a right wing back. And then at left back, Alfie Doughty, can he play left back? No, because there's a lot of distance to cover. Can he play left wing? Possibly. But we're not playing a formation with a left winger. So he has to play left wing back where he is more comfortable. It's chicken and egg. I'd ultimately like to see us play a derivative of a back four, like a 4-2-3-1, where you have the option of new boys like Milanic Ali playing left wing, cutting in off the flank. Kadua running at tired legs coming off the bench, because that is primarily how Matt Bloomfield used him. I haven't even talked about him. He's young. I think he's 20. So right now, we don't need to register him, which is good because it's just another person that we can sort of fill the squad with. And you need to take advantage of players that don't need registration. And I'm glad we're sort of playing that system a little bit. Loan signings under the age of 21, you don't need to register them. Permanent signings under the age of 21, you don't have to register them. So essentially, we just have a very pacey, powerful individual who essentially is an extra, a wild card. I don't really know what to think about it because essentially, will he take time away from the likes of Jaden Luca if he's playing in the attacking position? He can play in the 10 as well. Will he be taking time away from Zach Nelson? And shudder to think, will he be taking time away from Corley Woodrow in the 10? Can he play left wing back? There's a lot of questions that come to my mind right now because left wing back is the position that we need that sort of cover. I don't want to keep playing Millie Ali in cover of Alfie Doughty. That is still a glaring elephant in the room, massive hole in our squad list. Joe Johnson, can he play left wing back? No. Can he play full back? Well, if we're going to be continuing with the three at the back, we won't see if Joe Johnson can play a left back. because he'll just be sort of shoehorned in at left centre back. Yeah, I know this was meant to be a video talking about Gideon Kadua, but I've ended up just talking about the pains of formations. But I guess that is what this signing sort of makes me worried about. Where does he fit in? Obviously on the bench as an impact player. Perhaps we will get some minutes out of him because remember with the LDV vans, which what's it called? JPT, the Virtue Trophy, the Virtue. With the Virtue, we're gonna need a lot of players that can sort of swap in, swap out. But at the same time, you have to ensure that 6 players from maybe your starting lineup, maybe your squad, I'm not sure, but you have to have a certain number of players that roll over into the Virtue squad from the previous league games. And maybe if he comes on and plays, then he can start a Virtue Trophy game. But ultimately, I think that is going to be one for the kids in our academy. Get minutes, rest legs. But right now, we need to see some players moving in the other direction out the squad. Chong, he has to go. Cordy Woodrow, he's not going anywhere. But at the same time, while he's not going anywhere, it sort of leaves that right now we don't need another forward because Cordy's there, because Nordas is there, because Naki Wells is there. Ali can also play up top. But then there's the thought, again, that goes in my head, and I can't help it. Kadua can also fill in up top. Ali can play up top. We have Ollie Lynch in the youth academy. He can also play up top. Jaden Luca, I've been reliably informed by Lewis Williams. He can play up top. Although these players, you think they'd be kind of lightweights. And then we have Jacob Brown when he comes back from injury. We have Elijah Adebayo when he comes back from injury. It's one of those where, yes, I think we need that 20-goal a season striker. But who's going to make way? I think the players, other than Mengi and Chong, the players that are on their way out, they've gone. I think they've gone. There could be one or two others, but there are still players that we're going to be bringing in. I just don't see where the gap in the squad is now. What with Kadua being announced, that we have so many players. We have so many players, and a lot need to go. But I can't see any more than 2 going, 1 or 2, Chong and Mengi, because I think out of all the players in our squad, I think those are the 2 that quite obviously don't want to be there. Maybe Kadua is sort of making, he's a stopgap because Ruel Walters might leave. But ultimately, right now, I don't know. We sort of need to see what happens with the starting lineup against Wimbledon, because I think it's a case of putting everything we have on paper into practice and then seeing how we line up, what we actually need when we're actually playing someone that is sort of at our level in Wimbledon, and then, well, naturally, panic, be like, oh no, we need XYZ, and then we're going to overpay or just sign some other team's cast off. Hey, it's the Luton way. I guess we'll see what happens. Just some excerpts from the announcement for him. He reunites with Matt Bloomfield for a 3rd time. I mentioned that earlier. He was interestingly the captain of West Ham's under-18s, and Bloomfield mentions again, signed him twice before. So that shows what Bloomfield thinks of him. Does that mean he's sort of a teacher's pet? I don't know. I really don't know if he is a teacher's pet. But potentially Bloomfield might always make sure that he's the first one off the bench. But there must be an understanding. Obviously, Kadua and Bloomfield have worked together twice before. He obviously likes what Bloomfield does, and it would be remiss of me to not mention what I love about these loan signings. The fact that we've put an option in to these loan signings. Nigel van Dijk, Kadua. I love that because essentially with a loan signing, you spend your time developing other people's talent. And then at the end of the season, either you've depreciated someone else's asset or you've made someone a world beater, like Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. So the saying is, never fall in love with a loan player. But you know what? We can fall in love with these loan players, and hopefully they give us a reason to fall in love with them, because at the end of the season, we can sign them. If they impress us, we will sign them. Essentially, it's not going to be a Sam Nombe situation where we're like, okay, well, good thing we had the option to sign Sam Nombe, but he didn't impress us. And yeah, he went on. I think he scored quite a fair few goals for Exeter, and I think he's still scoring goals. But I think that was one that we were right to swerve. But imagine if we had an option to sign Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Now, that would have been absolutely sensational. Yeah, but never fall in love with a loan player. But fortunately, because we have the option to buy, that means I'd imagine it's a case of, one, if they impress, two, if we get promoted, and I can't think of a third, but you always have to do lists of three. I guess it's if they get on at the club as well. There you go. There's a third for you. Nevertheless, let me know what you think of our 8th signing of the window. Want to hear from you. Who's been the most impressive signing so far, in your opinion? Let me know in the comments section below. Everyone, have a great week. Have a great day. And if this comes out before the Southend game tonight, hopefully we batter them. If it comes out after the Southend game tonight, hopefully we battered them. Everyone, take care, and most importantly, come on, you Hatters.